Start off by standard procedure of removing the airbox, which just unclips and it's tucked into the wing. Manky old air filter. Now this just sits in some plastic pins and some rubbers, and there's two above the boost pipe and there's two under the wing, so you have to sort of pull it out of the wing and then rotate it. So it starts off, you've got two pins here and two pins underneath which sit into the bracket on the chassis. I don't know if you can see underneath there, but there's two pin rubbers on the bracket on the wing there. So this is one of the main reasons why we've designed the replacement airbox. The original system is very restrictive and has just a very poor interference fit. So there's no clips or anything for that. So if you were fitting a snorkel, it's all very well sealing it to the outside of the wing, but none of this system is sealed. You can actually see daylight through the airbox, and that just pushes onto the airbox as well. So there's no seal at all. And yeah, like I say, it's very restrictive. The standard grille fits on the outside of the wing and just screws through the wing with a bit of poor rubber seal. So our adapter is a 3D printed part. Well, we tried various ways of manufacturing this ducting out of aluminium, but it's such a convoluted shape that we ended up with this 3D design, which works really well. You know, that is sealed and just goes straight to the ducting. We set a metal ring inside so that you can tighten up the Jubilee clip, because you could potentially, if you tightened up the Jubilee clip too much on that, yep, it would squash. So that just fits through the wing with an adapter, and we replace that restrictive ducting with some 90mm twin wall silicon pipe, which is reinforced wire bound. So this is a simple operation of just slotting into one of the pins on the inner wing, and that rotates round and pushes down into the bracket on the chassis.
So really it's plug and play, isn't it?
That is it. There's no modifications. Originally we were only going to do the high intake one that comes under the wing, but then we realised that the left-hand drive would be a problem because of the heater duct. And also we found that a lot of people have already fitted the Nugget Stuff air intake system, so that is designed to fit in the original place. It fits to the original airbox. So we've made this one, potentially you could actually fit it with the original ducting if you really wanted to. So the intake is connected, and it is possible to fit these with the original intake hose, but they're a bit rubbish, and you have to cut it about a little bit. So we generally would suggest that you use a silicone intake pipe. This filter is an off-the-shelf one, and they're available for about £10 or £12. Again, we found that some others on the market use an aftermarket air filter, and you have to use that filter, so you have to go back to the manufacturer, and they're quite expensive. So we specifically wanted to use an off-the-shelf cheap filter that you can buy anywhere in the world. So literally that just fits onto the turbo, same as before.
So everything comes in the kit?
Yeah, everything comes. We can supply it without the silicone hose, but pretty much everybody will have that hose realistically.
And again, I see you've got some of your own hoses on already, but if you didn't have those, it would still plug and play.
It would. I mean, it will go onto a completely stock car, but I think realistically, if you're going to the expense of fitting this part, it would be well worth upgrading to the silicone intake hoses, really. This one is actually a pre-production one where we've adapted it, so the latest ones don't have that weld. We've machined this part with the curve on it already, so the latest ones are slightly different. And then the airflow meter just plugs back on. Now these are sealed. We've tried them underwater, so completely waterproof and dustproof. And we supply some little locking clips with them as well. And that just goes through there. They're a bit like our clips, but a little bit more secure. And that basically is it. So yeah, half an hour we'll see it completely swapped over. You know, a lot of them are used in very dusty environments, so certainly the sealing from dust is key, and then that leads on to a performance gain. We have a production run starting now. We're in production for both types, for the high and the low intake. We've done some which are powder coated black as well, which look very nice, and they're a bit more sort of subdued colours. We can ceramic coat them if you wanted to have it completely shiny and stay shiny.